Hello, this is Professor Eckhouse, and I'm going to talk today about writing percents using words, ratios, and fractions, and we're going to learn how to convert back and forth between fractions, decimals, and percents in every direction. All right, so we're going to start by looking at representations with models, and we're going to learn how to convert between these, but let's look at the pink one, and I want you to think about that first circle is divided into 1/4, and the second one is divided into 25%, and the last one is divided into 0.25. I want you to think about how those are how they are the same. And I also want you to think about what makes up 1. So let's look down at the purple one. We've got 5 1/5, we've got 5 20%, and 5 0.2s. So the first one we are looking at fractions, of course, divided into fractions. The second one we're looking at dividing into percents. And the last one we're looking at dividing into decimals. So the portions have been divided up into decimals, but they are the same thing, right? Each one of them is 1/4, 25%, 0.25. It means the same thing. Okay, so I just want to start out with just a visual of what it is we're going to be working with today. All right, percent comes from the two words per and cent. So what do you think cent means? Cent, if you think about money, how many cents are in a dollar? Well, cent stands for 100. So per cent means per 100, which means per 100. So where do you think the symbol percent comes from? So if you look at it, it looks like a fraction, right? So it comes from the fraction. So percent is just a fraction. That's all it is. It's per 100. All right, so a percent is a ratio whose denominator is 100. So let's look at this one. Among every 100 community college students, 57 are female. So that means 57 out of the 100 are female. But we just set up above that we say this as per cent. So this equals 57%, which we write as that symbol. Okay. All right, so moving on. Example 1. According to U.S. Department of Education report, 21 out of every 100 first-time freshman college students at a four-year public institution took at least one remedial course. So we're supposed to write this as a ratio, then as a percent. Well, 21 out of 100. We can also say that as 21 per 100. Per 100, right? So that means 21%. All right, so we're going to start by converting a percent to a fraction. So we're going to start by writing the percent as a ratio with a denominator 100 and then simplify. So 28%, what we just said was it means 28 per 100. So we can then reduce that. So we have 28 means 4 times 7, and 100 is 4 times 25. And the 4s are going to cancel out, and we get 7/25. And you can do that with the shortcut method too. All right, so 45%, 45 per 100, and then pause the video and try reducing that yourself. All right, so you should get 5 times 9 on top, 5 times 20 on the bottom, and that is looking for a common factor, of course, right? Common factor between 45 and 100. So then you get 9/20. All right, so this is an image from your textbook. The links are not live, so if you're in the OneNote, none of the buttons will work in the OneNote. This is from the textbook. Okay, so 35%, and what I set up above is this takes a lot of practice. So use the try it problems in the book. 35% is equivalent to what fraction in reduced terms? So that is 35 per 100, and that reduces to 5 times 7 and 5 times 20. So the 5s are going to divide out to make 1, and you get 7/20. All right, the next one, pause the video and give this one a try. All right, so you should get 184 per 100, percent per 100, and that reduces to, try reducing it, and it reduces, there are 4s in both of those. You divide both by 4 and you get 46/25. All right, converting decimal percents. So these are percents with decimals in them, so we don't always have perfect whole numbers when we talk about percents. So in order to convert it to a fraction, the best way to do it is what we did in the decimals and fraction sections, is we're going to say 24.5% per 100. Now we have to multiply this times 10/10, and that is going to give us 245 1/1000ths. Now why did we have to do that? Well, because we can't have a decimal in a fraction. All right, so we get 5 times 49 and 5 times 200, and the 5s are going to divide out. So I'm just looking for common factors in 245 and 1000, and I get 49/200ths. All right, 72.45 per 100. Now take it from there, pause the video, and see what you can do with that. All right, I'm going to have to multiply top and bottom times 100 to get that decimal to move over 2 places to get a whole number. So I'm going to have to do the same top and bottom. And I get 7245 per 10,000. And then there's a 5 in both of those. So you're going to say 5 times 1449. So just divide them both by 5 and see what you get. And keep track of it well, because the bigger the numbers are, the easier it is to lose track of what you're doing. So we should get 1,449 2/1000ths. All right, convert a percent to a decimal. So write the percent as a ratio with a denominator of 100, remembering that percent means per 100. So then convert it to the fraction to a decimal by dividing in your calculator. All right, so we just have 2 problems here. So 8%, remember, it means 8 per 100. 8 per 100. Well, back in the decimal section, we talked about learning what that means. 8 per 100 means 8 100ths. And 100ths, remember 100ths? Let me write that out. I was being lazy. 100ths is the second place over right there. So that means 8 100ths is going to be 0.08. You could also put it in your calculator and say 8 divided by 100. And you get 0.08. Okay, so we just converted to a decimal. All right, 46% is 46 per 100. So per 100 means divide by 100. And dividing by 100 gives us 0.46, or we can think of it as 46 100ths, right? 46 100ths. And that is that right there. All right, so now notice and remember, we've talked about dividing by 100 means you're going to move the decimal place. Which direction? By how many places? It moves it left by 2 places. 2 places. Okay, so notice that we were at 46 right here, and we're going to go back 2. And that's what we did. We went back 2. All right, so let's try these. So I'm going to rewrite these. So this is 125 per 100, right? 125. So you can use your calculator if you want to, but you need to be skilled also at, when you're working with powers of 10, just moving the decimal place. So the decimal place is here, and we're going to move it back left 2 places when we divide by 100, and that gives us 1.25. So 125% as a decimal is 1.25. All right, the next one is 15.6 per 100. In other words, 15.6, and we're going to move the decimal place 1, 2 back, and now it moves to here. And that becomes 0.156. So 15.6% is 1.156, or 156 thousandths, yes. So once you understand why the decimal moves left 2 places, you can go directly to doing that. And I often say shortcuts are for experts, so please become an expert first and understand the why behind the shortcut. All right, this is a good practice. I'll show you the first one, and then I'll ask you to stop your video and try it yourself. All right, so a fraction of the first one, we are not going to reduce. We're going to not reduce, just so I want you to see a pattern here without the reduction. All right, so the fraction here is going to be 5%, means per 100. So the decimal is going to be 0.05, 5 100ths. All right, so pause your video and give the rest of these a try. All right, so you should get 78 100ths and 0.78. 135 100ths, you do it the same way, even though it's over 100. And you're going to say, you're going to move it back 2 places. This is the easiest way to think of this. Thinking about it being in the thousands place is a little bit weird. So it just kind of confuses a lot of people. It's easier to just think about moving it back 2 places, and it becomes 1.35. All right, 12.5 per 100, right? But that's not finalized. That would be 125 over 1,000. We're just going to leave it there for just a moment. And so I'll say or fixed, right? That's not a correct form, so it should be fixed, but that is the first step in writing the fraction. And then you're going to move it back 2 places and get 0.125. All right, 0.25% would be 0.25 over 100, and of course you'd have to multiply top and bottom by 100 to get a proper fraction. And we're going to move the decimal place back 2 places. So let's do this. We're going to go 0.025. Sorry, let me rewrite that. I was thinking about my colors instead of what I was writing. So we've got 0.25, and we're going to move back 2 places. So we end up with an extra 0 we have to put in, right? So be careful. It's 0 point. Now we've got 0.025. All right, the next one also a little bit tricky, so make sure you take this and you move it back 2 places to here and put in an extra 0. But before we do that, let's write it as a fraction, 0.016 per 100. And so this becomes 0.000016, very tiny decimal. Okay, moving on. Next, we're going to look at converting a decimal to a percent. So write the decimal as a fraction first, and then if the denominator is not 100, rewrite it as an equivalent, and then write the ratio as a percent. Whew, that's a lot to do. So let's look at example 6, number 1. We've got 3 examples here, so I'll do the first one, and I'm going to let you try the next. All right, so the first step is to write the decimal as a fraction. So 0.35 is the same thing as 35 hundredths, right? So you have to remember your rules. 35 hundredths, because this is in the hundredths place. All right, so 35 hundredths is, as we know, 35 per 100 means 35%. All right, 0.02 is 2 100ths, which is 2% per 100. All right, this one is 73 100ths, which is 73%. All right, so notice on these, we're going from a decimal to a percent. An easier way to think about it is what is happening to the decimal place. Because these up here, I'm going to move back up, we're all perfectly set up to be 100ths, right? So if you get some that aren't 100ths, they're a little bit more complicated. So the easiest way to think about this, what is the pattern? So hopefully you see that the decimal is moving 1, 2 to the right to get to the percent. 1, 2 to the right to get to the percent. In other words, we multiply by 100. Okay, so multiply by 100, or move 2 to the right. Okay, convert each decimal to a percent. So the first way you can think about it is thinking about it as per 100, but I think we should probably just go ahead and start doing moving to the right 2 places, or multiplying times 100. So this becomes 108%. Okay, so this next one, we're going to move 0, we're going to move, just do it right here, 1, 2 to the right, and I get, or multiply times 100, and I get 2.4%. All right, the next one, we're going to take 2.5, and we're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right, or multiply times 100, and we get 250%. Don't forget the percent sign, or else it doesn't mean anything. All right, so what you're showing with percent sign is you have multiplied by 100, and you're going from a decimal to a percent. So convert a fraction to a percent. First, we're going to convert it to a decimal and then to a percent. So you're going to put 1/4 in your calculator. 1 divided by 4, don't forget. That's what that is, 1 divided by 4, and you're going to get 0.25. Now we have to convert the decimal to a percent, so that's why we learned that first, and now we're doing the fractions. So take the decimal and multiply it times 100, or move it 2 places to the right, and we get 25%. Hopefully you recognize that 1/4 is 25%. That was from the example at the beginning. All right, 7/8 is 0.875. And we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right, or multiply times 100, and we get 87.5%. All right, 14/8 is 1.75, if you put it in your calculator. Multiply that times 100, or move 2 places to the right, and you get 175%. Now stop and think about this. This is a number bigger than 1. Right? So it should be over 100%. It should be a bigger number than 100%. So make sure you're understanding that. All right, why don't you try the next one? All right, you should get 2.8. Multiply times 100, or move the decimal place 2 places to the right, and you get 280%. All right, so this is our last one. So pause the video and take some time to fill in these blanks and see if you can go in every direction from anything that you're given. Okay, so hopefully that goes well. You can come back and see what the answers are. All right, so 72% is 0.72. Oh, and I am going to reduce the fractions so you can see how to do that, because you will be asked to do that in the homework. And so you can repause and do that if you would like. So 72/100 equals 18/25. I just divided everything by 4. 0.85 is the same thing as 85%. By the way, if you haven't thought about this, if you're going in this direction, you're going to divide by 100, or go left 2 places. If you're going this direction, you're going to multiply by 100, or go right 2 places. But I'd like you to understand why, which is why I taught you not just memorizing, but the reasons why. All right, so 85/100, and that reduces to 17/25. Okay, 3/5, just put that in your calculator, and you get 0.6. And then you can go to the percent, which is 60%. All right, 0.5%. Remember, we're going to move left, or divide by 100, and we get 0.0 0.05. And that is going to be, now you can put that as a fraction because you see that that's in the thousandths place, so that's 5 1,000ths, which reduces to 1/200. All right, 0.02 is 2%, and it is 2 100ths, which is the same thing as 1/50. All right, 7 divided by 6 is 1.17. And to get to a percent, you're going to move to the right 2 places or multiply times 100, and you get 117%. Okay, that is all. Thanks for watching.